Hi everyone, hope you're doing great and staying safe. So I'm back with another art journal video, and I'm really excited about this one because this is an experiment which I am daring to do. So as you can see, I have already glued down pattern paper, and I'm now gluing it down fully because right now it's only glued down from the middle. Once it's glued down, I am going to cover it up with a layer of gesso. So today's art journal is inspired by two things. First, for a while I wanted to try out a tone on tone page but was not able to get any ideas for it, and I was keeping it aside for the day when I'll get inspired. So recently what happened was I had a discussion with my friend about an island in southern India, and it's called Lakshadweep, and the mention of the island took my mind to crystal blue waters, and I immediately knew what I'll be creating for this tone on tone page, and here we are. So once the gesso is done, I have trimmed down the page, and now I'm moving on to adding more texture. Always clean up the texture base from the side of the page. I'm also cleaning the texture base from the seam and around from the seam because I don't want the page to get bulky from the seam. Now I've moved on to another stencil, and again once I have applied in the middle, I will remove some of the texture base from the seam. Now moving on to adding the color to the page. This is Distress Oxide Spray Salty Ocean. After spraying it down, I'm just moving the ink around with extra water. So for the next color, the dark one, what I'm doing is I'm adding it at the edges and using a watered brush to spread the color on the page and onto the textures. I'm loving how the dark color is moving through the areas within the texture paste, and it's really making an interesting pattern on the page. So once I'm happy with how it looked, I dried the page, and now I'm moving on to the focal elements. These are some elements which I got in from one of the local crafting site, and there was white border around it which I have fussy cut because I wanted them to do not have any border around the elements. And as you can see, the anchor has some flowers on it, so I added some orange vellum paper flowers to my page just to add some extra dimension. Once everything is glued down, I'm working on how to make the focal element stand out on the page. I first tried with Food & Soke pen, and it did not make that much of an impact. So what I did was I moved on to the acrylic white marker. It did made definition, but it was quite bold. So I tried the third technique, which is I put the acrylic paint on my craft sheet, took out watercolor paper, and then start spreading the acrylic paint using the damp watercolor paper, and that did the trick because it gave some kind of a wispy, a blurry outline to all my focal elements, and that helped it to stand out. And I was really happy that I was able to make the focal element stand out without any dramatic outline. So once that's done, I'm making some doodles for bubbles. Once I have created the bubbles from black pen, I'm filling it up with this acrylic marker from Brustro. Because this is distress oxide paint spray in the background, it was getting stuck to the acrylic marker, so I was cleaning it up in between the application. Once I'm happy with how the elements are looking, I moved on to writing down the quote. Once I have decided where to put on the quote, I just glued them down, and this makes the page complete. I loved how the different blue colors have given depth and dimension to the page. How the color moved through all the texture base that I have used, and the important part was that I was able to make the focal point stand out even when it's tone on tone, and this glitter on the mermaid and the dolphin, or the whale. Maybe whale, yeah, it's looking nice. And I can still see some of the text from that pattern paper which I have applied as the first layer, so that is also adding to the beauty of the page. And I am seriously really happy with how the page turned out. I have not given any dark edges to this page today because I felt like it can do without it. So yeah. Before taking the photographs, I have trimmed down these flowers which are hanging outside the page, so you will notice that in the photographs. Thank you for watching, guys. Do like, subscribe, and share with friends, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.